Well, hello everybody. Good afternoon, it's me Jessica, your Health Fitness Program Manager from Miter McLean. And I'm here today to guide you through an awesome mind-body practice where we're gonna focus a bit on balance, just a teeny little bit. There will be a number of standing postures today where both feet are on the ground, you're super grounded. Today's practice is really just about finding that inner calm, just making some movement so we can relax and release and let things go. So as always, breath will be numero uno. We're gonna start in 4 minutes. Oh yeah, I forgot we were gonna do that too. All right, and we're gonna actually start in Savasana today. I know it's been a while since we started in Savasana. I wrote a super fresh class, so I'm gonna bring my computer over here. Just trying to keep it fresh, you guys. So 3 minutes from right now, before we get into Savasana together, but if you have the time right this moment, go ahead and come on into your Savasana right now. Gather any props that you feel like you might need to be as supported as possible. Hopefully you really won't need many of them today, but I'd rather that you have them and feel supported than wish that you brought something. Make sure you can see my whole mat. Smidgen. All right. I know we don't usually have a lot of water breaks during yoga because it's such a super gentle class, but I encourage you to have some water nearby just in case you need it. Okay, and enjoy that hydrating right now. See if you can even hold off from drinking water during class if possible. I know when I first started doing yoga, especially Bikram, when the room is hot and you're feeling stressed, or maybe the postures just didn't quite feel like they were in your wheelhouse yet, the urge to just kind of like, ugh, like, you know what, whatever, I'm just gonna drink some water. For me, a lot of times during class, water was like my comfort thing. I could take a break and I could drink that. So, you know, just notice in this class and any of the other classes, if you're distracting yourself with your little outside something or somethings as like a kind of excuse that we create to kind of come out of the focus that exercise tends to take. All right, so it is 12:15 right now. We're gonna start today in Savasana. Make sure you have some space above you. I don't. Because we are going to bring our arms up overhead in just a minute or so. Just starting right now though, in our traditional Savasana with your arms relaxed down by your side, can you turn your hands palms up so that your palms are facing the ceiling? Start with your heels close together, maybe even your legs touching, and allow those feet to fall out heavy towards the side. Take a couple moments, the first couple of breaths as you have made your way onto the floor, onto your mat, into the space that you created for yourself, to allow yourself to come into your breath and start to relax and release. Taking a couple moments to scan your body from head to toe, just notice where you might be squeezing muscles or creating tension that doesn't need to be there. if/when you find any of those places, on your next breath, inhale in just the awareness of the tension that you maybe unintentionally created. And as you exhale out, think about just opening that area up, creating a little bit more space, relaxation, room, and take a couple times with those breaths, with that focus. And then maybe it's time to move on to another part of your body that you might have noticed some tension in. Take this time to really slow your breath down. Changing our breath, changing our mental channel. Just coming into the mindfulness, not just a physical practice of yoga. Attention on your breath and yourself and honoring what feels good for you today. So if at any point during class you are not into whatever we're doing, feel free to maybe come down, hang out in child's pose, find the variation of the posture that does work for you. This is your practice. It's not perfect. It's just practice. So we're here to have a good time. Feel free to close your eyes. As always, if your eyes are open and moving, your mind is moving. So finding a gentle, relaxed focus on one spot or even closing your eyes. Okay, on your next inhale, I want you to gently, with some nice straight arms, thumbs towards the back of the room, stretch those arms up overhead. And then reach those arms up behind you. Bring those thumbs down to the floor and then start to even find an extra little stretch, stretching through your fingertips, really waking up the whole body, pulling your belly in a little tighter, pressing your lower back down to the mat, finding that engagement of your rib cage. Maybe your shoulders do come a little closer towards your ears as you just work towards a total body stretch, stretching through those toes or pressing through those heels, whatever feels best for you today. Go ahead, take one more nice deep inhale. And on your exhale, you can bend your elbows, bring those arms back down by your side, relax your arms down on your mat, and let's go ahead and draw those knees up. You can do one knee at a time. We're gonna relax our feet side by side, but go ahead, brace your inner thighs or your knees or shins, whatever you can bring together, and take your hands palms and just relax them on top of your shin, just below your knee, for a little bit of knees to chest. As you get here, we're gonna relax our shoulders away from our ears, a gentle stretch through your elbows. Take a little bit of a tuck of your chin towards your chest to get as much of your neck and back vertebrae on the mat as possible. So not lifting the chin, just finding length through the crown of the head, finding a little more space between shoulders and ears. Use your next breath to stretch even more through the crown of your head towards the wall behind you, more space through each of your vertebrae, and press your lower back, your sacrum down onto the mat as you draw those knees a little tighter in towards your chest. We'll take 2 more breaths right here. All right, gently relax your grip. We're gonna make our way up to a seated position. Find your way up to a seated position however feels best for you, maybe rolling over onto the side and pressing yourself up, maybe rocking yourself up like a ball. Just take your time. You can use your elbows, you can use your body as much as feels good for you. And we're going to come into Sukhasana. Sukhasana, easy pose. So grounding your sit bones down on the floor. Remember, if your knees are coming all the way towards your chest, just always find something to just gently lift your butt. a little bit off of the floor. A lift in your hips can help those knees relax down a little bit more. And we're gonna go ahead and bring our hands, palms to the center of our chest as we get here in Namaskar. Now I'm sitting a little in a like quasi half lotus fire logs. If this is not comfortable for you to keep one foot stacked on top of the other, please feel free to be more open in your seated position. We're all just finding what feels best for our own bodies today, and everyone's body is different and every day is different. So just honor whatever you can bring to today's practice. All right, with our hands, palms together, applying some pressure through those hands, palms, feel your back activate. Ground your sit bones, pull your belly in, knit that rib cage together as you gently tuck your chin towards your chest, bow your head, and come back to your breath. If you want to set an intention for your class today, now is a beautiful time to do so. Where or to whom would you like to send your good thoughts, your energy? Maybe there's something you're just working to let go of with your breath. Maybe you have a personal mantra. If you don't and you're looking for one, inhale in awareness and exhale out that which does not serve you. Think about bringing your shoulder blades towards each other as if they were to kiss, and then relaxing them down. A little bit more activation in the upper back, shoulders, still keeping that belly nice and tight. All right, take 2 more breaths right here. Then go ahead, lift your chin back up from your chest, gently relax your arms down. We're gonna go ahead and bring our hands onto our knees with our palms facing down. Take a moment, bring your navel towards your spine, maybe find a little bit of rounding in your back, a little bit like cat. And with your hands on your knees for some support, we're gonna gently make some circles right here. Maybe as you come forward, chin starts to come away from your chest, and as you come back, chin tucks towards chest, finding that rounding. Only make as large of a circle as you can while keeping both of your sit bones grounded to the mat. So maybe you need to make your circle a little bit smaller if you found yourself really rocking up onto your thigh. Let's go around just a couple more times in this direction. Maybe one shoulder leads and the other shoulder follows. Really work on belly tight, finding that rounding. Let's go 2 more times in this direction. And we'll stop at the back with our chin tucked towards our chest. In our seated version of cat, maybe emphasize a little bit more. Shoulders can draw forward, really pull that belly in, find that extra rounding. And let's go ahead, change the direction of our circle. So still moving nice and slow, keeping the opposite glute on the floor. Rounding at the back. And as open as you feel comfortable to being at the front. Take your time here. If you find a spot that needs to just be held for a second for you to breathe out the tension, feel free to hang out in that spot. Just a couple more times around, focusing on your breath. Make sure you haven't held your breath as some of these stretches, I know for me, wow, I'm feeling this in my back a lot. And sometimes when you feel that tension, it's easy to hold your breath and keep it in, but make sure you're still breathing. Last 2 times around. All right, as we come towards the back, one more time of pulling those shoulders forward so shoulder blades are no longer kissing They're in bed texting, looking at other opposite sides of the wall. All right, now pull yourself up. Take a moment to relax those shoulders away from your ears. Kiss those shoulder blades together once more. They put their phones away. Get that chin neutral towards your chest. Find a little bit of length through the crown of your head. Take a moment right here in your stillness. Come back to your focus. Think about your intention. Think about your breath. And then we're going to relax and release those fingertips down to the floor by our hips. Start by walking your left hand gently away from you, maybe about 5 fingertip steps. Go ahead, press your hand into the floor, and I want you to open up your chest, open that back, pull that rib cage in. We're going to take our right arm, and as dramatic as we can be, really stretch it with a straight arm all the way up towards the sky. Find your length first. Start to create that big stretch on your right side right now, still grounding your left hand towards the mat, and then we're going to reach our right hand fingertips over to the left side even more. Maybe you take a slight bend in your left elbow to help you find the stretch. Keep that chin neutral towards your chest. Just breathe it out right here. Can you bring all 5 of your fingers to touch each other? Instead of having those fingers splayed out nice and wide, fingers relax side by side, hands open. And change. Straighten that left arm if you relaxed it. Find that big reach through your right hand like a rainbow. Bring your right hand fingertips to the floor. You can walk them away slightly if you need to. Press your hand palm back down into the mat and take a moment with that hand palm down to really open up your chest. Knit that rib cage back together, belly tight. Dramatic lift of your left hand. Stretch it all the way out towards the opposite wall and then up towards the ceiling. Start to press a little bit more into your right hand as you really reach up. Try and touch the ceiling. All 5 of your fingers touching each other, facing the front of the room. Keep that length all throughout your left side. Feel free to bend your right elbow as you reach over towards the right side. A gentle little shifting of a little more towards your left glute, but right stays grounded with the mat. Make sure you didn't collapse that chest forward, so re-engage your shoulder blades. Stretch through that left hand, little extra stretch at the ends for 3, 2, 1. Straighten your right arm out. Find that reach in your left hand again, all the way up towards the ceiling, out towards the opposite wall. Relax and release your left hand down towards the side. We're going to take our hands, come to the center of your chest, interlace your fingers and turn your palms forward and stretch through your hands' palms. As you find this stretch right here, you might find a little rounding of your shoulders. So take a deep inhale, pull your belly in and lift your chest, sternum up. Shoulders come away from your ears. Focus a little bit more on the engagement and activation of your chest as opposed to just the stretching your shoulders when you find that rounding right here. All right, one more time. Let's inhale those arms up overhead. Release your fingertips. Take your time coming out of the stretch. Maybe bend one arm, maybe turn your head, the other arm. Just rain your fingertips down towards the floor, however feels best for you. Wake up, computer, I need you. Great, I believe the next step, we are coming into tabletop. So take your time, let's come on up into tabletop. From here, okay. Great, all right, mix things up a little. Tabletop. Shake it out just a teeny little bit here in tabletop. A little shifting of the hips, left and right, right and left. We're gonna go ahead and tuck those back toes under. Really walk your toes in a little bit as much as you can to try and get the balls of your feet to the floor for a big toe stretch. As you walk your hands back towards your thighs, and as you begin to apply some pressure, the more you bring your hands up, the more that you're weighted on top of your feet, the more you're gonna feel the intensity build in your feet. So if you need to keep your hands on the floor, that's okay, but if you can lift yourself up, come on, lift yourself up, find that spot to just relax and focus your eyes in front of you, shoulder blades still in love with each other, making out, but knit that ribcage together. We're gonna hang out here for 4 more breaths. You might feel some shaking and trembling. Last breath. Beautiful. If you have your hands on your thighs, go ahead and walk your hands back down into tabletop. Untuck your toes. Take a moment. Tap your feet. Awesome. And then go ahead, bring the tops of your feet back down towards the mat. We're going to start off with a nice big stretch on our thighs. And then we're going to come into a stretch on our ankles. So walking yourself back. Do your best to keep your toes pointed directly behind you as opposed to feet turning out towards the side. We're going to bring our hands behind us. I have my fingertips turned in towards my toes. I'm going to gently squeeze my glutes and work to press my knees down towards the floor, pressing the top of my shins towards the floor. I'm going to come forward a little bit more. We're focusing on the stretch that you're creating in your thighs right now, but if you want to open your chest a little bit more, you can feel free, as long as you're really just working to squeeze those glutes, press those knees down towards the floor. A nice big stretch on your quads. 2 more breaths. All right, relax your glutes back down towards your heels. We're going to bring the stretch into our ankles by, maybe you can bring your forearms down towards the mat. Just working to gently lift those knees up off the floor, pressing your big toe down, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor, feeling the stretch a little bit more, maybe even around your knee. Make sure that it's gentle. Should not feel like pressure. Should not be pain. Maybe a little discomfort for 3, 2, 1. Great. Go ahead, walk yourself back up. We'll take a moment and come back into tabletop. Tap those feet again. Shake it out because we're coming back onto our knees one more time. If you really have trouble sitting on your knees, because we're going to hang out there for a little bit, I encourage you to take a block or something you can put underneath of your seat so that there's less pressure of yourself onto the backs of your legs, onto your knees or ankles. However, if you don't need that, don't use it. And if you don't have a prop and it feels uncomfortable, you can just stand up on your knees just like this and do everything we're about to do. Okay, so right here, take a moment, open up those shoulders again, kissing those shoulder blades together and seating them down. We're going to take some circles right here, just getting into those chakras. So maybe a little bit of rounding like we found when our hands were on our knees. So first, finding some circles in your chest. Go ahead, change the direction of those circles. Just having some fun, making some shapes. Breathing. All right, I want you to think about finding the circles a little bit more from the center line of your body. Go ahead, change direction of those circles. And then we're going to get our hips involved. So lifting your heels off of your glutes, just a little squeeze and tuck of the pelvis. 3, 2, change directions. Here we go. 5, 4, feel those thighs. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Go ahead, come on back into your hands, palms. Walk those hands out nice and wide, a little wider than usual. We're just going to do some cat-cow right here with those nice wide hands. Finding any shimmies or shakes that feel good for your body today. from right here, I'm gonna ask you to tuck your toes under. Keep that left toe grounded for just a moment. We're gonna take that right knee and really draw it up towards our nose. For 3, 2, 1, relax and release it down. As you draw that knee towards your nose on this left side, really want you to make sure that you have the weight in your hands, palms, not just your fingertips. Your weight might even shift a little bit forward. Go ahead, take a nice deep inhale. Draw that knee up, squeeze it, find some engagement of your belly. Awesome, relax and release that knee back down. We're gonna go ahead and send our hips up towards the ceiling for a little bit of a bent knee down dog. So truly just picking those knees up off the floor, your belly comes towards your thighs. Taking a moment here with these bent knees, your eyes should be looking towards your toes, towards the back of the room. Really work to bring your chest towards those knees. Your heels can be off of the floor, that's totally okay. Take another nice deep inhale and start to send your hips up towards the ceiling a little more. Straightening of the legs and down dog. If you want, you can pedal your feet. Maybe you need to walk your feet out a little bit further away, or you can stay right where we were with those super bent knees, trying to find as straight of a back as you can. Think about shining your elbow creases forward towards the top of the mat and doing your best to bring your biceps towards your ears. We're gonna go ahead and ground your left leg and inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. First, start by keeping that right hip down towards the floor. Make some circles with your ankle in one direction, in the opposite direction, and then we're gonna go ahead and open that hip up. So do your best to stack your right hip on top of your left. Can you keep your right shoulder square towards the mat though? Just do your best. Make some circles with your knee in one direction, in the opposite direction. Go ahead, straighten that leg out one more time, stretch it up towards the ceiling, and then we're gonna pull ourselves forward, bring your right leg with you for a nice hip opener. You might need to wiggle your back leg back. We're gonna relax and release our back knee down towards the floor, bring those toes down towards the floor, and just shift the weight forward. As you shift the weight forward, think about that left hip coming back forward, right glute coming back, just leaning forward. If you need to use a block here, if it's hard for you to reach the floor, do it, or just think about lifting yourself up. Take one more big breath, really pressing those hips forward. If you lifted yourself up, bring your hands back down towards the mat, tuck your back toes under, lift your left knee up, send your right leg back to meet with your left, bend those knees, and bring your hips back towards your heels. Maybe even walk your hands back in, coming back into that nice, super bent, easier on our bodies to start with down dog. Press into your hands, palms, into the fleshy part between your thumb and pointer finger, and shine those elbow creases forward, engaging your back. So shoulder blades are still kissing towards each other, if that's what it takes for you to think. I think it's a beautiful analogy. Let's go ahead, take a deep inhale, send those hips a little higher up towards the ceiling. Maybe walk your feet back if you need to. You can even walk the dog, pedaling your heels. All right, let's ground our right feet to the mat. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Start with those hips squared down towards the mat. So no turning of the hips yet. You can still have a bend in that right knee if you need to. Make some circles with your left ankle in one direction. Still breathing in the opposite direction. Now go ahead, open and stack those hips. So you're rotating your left hip up towards the ceiling, but you're doing your best to keep your chest square towards the floor. Bend the left knee, make some circles with your knee leading the circles in one direction, in the opposite direction. Go ahead, straighten that leg, try to touch your toe towards the ceiling, enjoy a nice big split. And then we're gonna bring that left leg forward. Take your time. Maybe it doesn't come all the way there. Maybe you need to work it forward a little bit more. Bring your back knee down towards the floor and adjust yourself as much as you need to here. So maybe back knee needs to wiggle back, or maybe you need to shift that weight forward. Remember, we're working to get that big stretch in our hips. So if you're all the way back here, if your knee of your front leg is nowhere near your ankle, you're not going to really be able to enjoy that stretch. Remember, if the floor feels super far away, you can bring your hands onto your thighs, lift yourself up. Relax those shoulders. Relax. All right, go ahead, bring your hands, palms back down towards the mat. Tuck your right toes under. Go ahead, straighten your right leg. Send your left leg back to meet with your right. Send your hips up towards the ceiling one more time. And then we're gonna pull ourselves all the way through. You can even bring your knees down towards the mat. Pubic mound comes down towards the mat for a little cobra or up dog. One more time, tuck those toes under, send those hips up towards the ceiling, left leg down, send your right leg up. Let's bring our right knee towards our left elbow. Shifting the weight forward, send your right leg up towards the ceiling, bring your right knee towards your right elbow. One more time, up towards the ceiling. Find that stretch, bring your right knee towards your nose. Ceiling one more time, you can touch it. And one more time, bring it forward for that hip opener. You can stay lifted this time in your hip opener, or feel free to relax and release that knee back down towards the floor. Make sure you're not stretching your heel all the way back towards the back of the room. So press into the ball of the foot. You can always lift yourself up, come towards your thigh. Right hip forward, left hip back for 3, 2, 1. Bring your right hand fingertips back down towards the floor. Get your left leg behind you, hips up and down dog one more time. Plant your right foot down to the floor, send your left leg up towards the ceiling. Enjoy that big stretch. Try and touch the ceiling with your toes. Let's shift the weight forward and bring our left knee towards our right elbow. Eyes come forward, shoulders forward, the left leg up towards the ceiling. The left knee towards your left elbow. Up towards the ceiling, the left knee towards your nose. Notice even right now how the weight shifts on the ball of your foot. Up towards the ceiling once more, touch it, and then bring that left leg forward. You can keep your right knee up off of the mat if you choose to. A little more active here in our second hip opener of the day. Option to bring your hands towards your thighs. Shift that weight forward. Heel, back heel stacks on top of the ball of the foot for 3. Relax your shoulders. 2. Find focus with your eyes. 1. Hands back down towards the floor. Once more, send your left leg back behind you, hips up. We're just gonna walk our feet forward towards the top of the mat. And when we get here, forward fold. So either feet side by side or about hips with distance apart, which is about 2 fists maybe. Feel free to take a generous bend of your knees right here. If your hands can relax on the floor, great. If it feels really far away, just grab hold of your opposite elbow and keep the weight in your heels for right now. Okay. All right, we're gonna take our time and slowly roll ourselves up. 1 vertebrae at a time. Shoulder blades kiss. And seat down our back and arms relaxed down by your side. Okay, we're gonna try a different stretch today. So, from here, taking a moment in your super tall, proud mountain, chest is open, back engaged, glutes are squeezed, and pelvis is gently pressed forward, stomach sucked in. Let's go ahead and inhale our arms up overhead. Just find that reach. I want you to keep your hands about a volleyball's distance apart. Bring those shoulder blades together and down. Just feel all the magical energy energy swirl between your hands, palms, thumbs towards the back of the room. Take one more nice deep inhale. Exhale, bring your hands, palms together in front of you at the center of your chest. From right here, we're going to turn our hands so that your right thumb is up towards the ceiling and your left thumb is stretching down towards the floor, and then hook your fingertips at the end. So keeping that chest sternum open and lifted, keeping that squeeze of our glutes, we're going to stretch our right elbow up towards the ceiling and stretch our left elbow behind us, maybe even towards the wall. Maybe your chin tucks gently towards the chest. Try not to let your rib cage splay out, so keep that belly tight, glutes squeeze, really ground your feet through the floor. Your legs are engaged, grounding through all four corners of the feet, so maybe your toes even lift gently as you find the stretch. One more deep inhale. Come on back up to center. Bring your hands back in front of you. Take a moment right here in Namaskar. Just squeeze those hands, palms together. Activate your upper back. And then switch. So this time, left hand comes on top, left thumb towards the top. Interlace those fingers. Open your chest, activate your back. Stretch your left elbow up towards the ceiling. Bring your hands behind your head as much as you can. Stretch through your right elbow down towards the floor or towards the wall. Just creating a delightful, big, beautiful stretch all over the left sides of our body. Awesome. Go ahead, inhale yourself back up to center. We're going to release our hands and stretch them up towards the ceiling. Grab your volleyball, pull your shoulders away from your ears. If your feet are side by side, bring your feet hips width distance apart. We're going to take a bend in our knees as we bring our arms down towards our side. Palms face in towards our legs. Stretch your hands back behind you and stretch through your fingertips for your best version of a modified chair / skier pose. And then really moving with intention. Belly pulled in nice and tight. Feet towards the floor. Fingertips come back down towards the floor. Hold on to your beautiful volleyball. And stretch up towards the ceiling. All right, and then hips go back behind you. Once more, bend your knees. Arms come down, maybe a little bend in the elbows, whatever feels good. As you reach your hands behind you, stretch through those fingers, shoulders engaged. Skier, 2 more times. Bring it down. Energy ball in your hands, ground through your feet, lift yourself up, squeeze your glutes, hips press forward, eyes can stretch up towards the ceiling. Maybe even go for a little mini back bend, pushing your hips forward. Belly tight, there's a slight forward hinge as we come back down into our chair. Stretch your fingertips behind you. Last one, inhale. Exhale as your arms come all the way up overhead. Take one more nice deep inhale. Bend your knees. Once more in skier pose. Awesome. Gently lift yourself up. We're going to turn sideways for a little separate leg stretching. Separate leg stretching in star pose. So starting off with just big star pose, I want you to open your feet nice and wide and make sure your heels are invisible behind your toes. So no feet turning out and no pizza wedges, feet turning in. Shoulder blades, hands palms forward. You can spread your fingertips nice and wide. Round all 4 corners of the feet into the floor, outer edges as well. As you lift those arms up and open, feel that back engage. You are a beautiful star. Thumbs facing up towards the ceiling. Let's take 2 more breaths right here. Reach through those fingertips. Open your chest. Maybe bring your hands back slightly. Then go ahead, bring your arms in line with your shoulders. Pull those bellies in. You can bring your toes together if you want. Palms facing down towards the floor. We're going to come forward with intention. Your lower rib leads on the way down. You can even have your eyes forward so you can't see the wall in front of you anymore. And then relax your hands underneath of your shoulders. Shift the weight a little forward into your toes for some separate leg stretching. If it's easy for you, if your legs are straight,
You can reach back and grab hold of your heels from behind. Can you even step on all 5 fingers of each hand? If your legs are not straight, just keep your hands, palms right underneath of your chest and just work to bring a little bit more weight into your toes to send your hips up towards the ceiling. Take notice right now, if you've shifted the weight into your heels and your hips are stretching towards the back of the room, we want our hips to be stacked right on top of our knees. Beautiful. Keep your left hand down on the floor. Let's take a twist here. So bring your left hand down to the center under your chest if you've gone for a little bit of a deeper separate leg stretching. Work to really rotate that chest right here. Step your right shoulder on top of the left as best that you can. Feel free to take an extra little bind, bending your elbow, reaching your right hand fingertips towards your left hip crease, and then using that right elbow to draw towards the left side of the room. Open your chest even more for 3, 2, 1. Release your bind, slowly stretch up towards the ceiling. Relax and release your right hand down towards the floor. Send your left arm up towards the ceiling. Turn your chin towards that shoulder. Go ahead, bend at your left elbow if it feels good for you. And then open up that chest. Send your left elbow towards the right side of the room. Change. Go ahead, send your left arm up towards the ceiling. Relax and release it down towards the floor. Stretch your arms out to the side, both arms out to the side. Find length through the crown of your head. Find that nice flat back. Press into your toes. Lift yourself up. At the top, step your feet together. Bring your arms up overhead. Stretch through your fingertips, thumbs towards the back of the room, holding your volleyball. And then relax and release your arms down by your side. We'll just get 2 more standing stretches, a little bit more balance, and then we'll hit the floor. So ground your left foot down towards the mat. Pull that belly in nice and tight. We're going to lift our right leg up behind us and just go for a nice little quad stretch. It's more polite if I turn this way. Okay, nice little quad stretch. So you're stretching your knee down towards the floor, but I want you to feel it even more. So can you gently point your knee behind you? If it is in your wheelhouse, we're going to take our backhand, which is presumably gripping on the, oops, I moved my eyes, which is gripping on the outside of your foot, and we're going to rotate it around so that your wrist is on the inside and your fingers are touching towards your pinky toes. Still grounding into the floor, squeezing your glutes hips forward, send your left arm up towards the ceiling, and we're going to start with our kick as we come into standing bow pulling. Kick your heel and toe away from you as much as you can. When you can't kick anymore, you're just going to hinge forward at the hips. Think about drawing your left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. You're working to bring your chest and abdomen down parallel to the floor so you can get the blood to drain from your heel into the other part of your body. Take a deep inhale, kick up, and exhale, slowly, gently lift. Release, relax that left hand down towards the floor. One more, let's get the other side. So ground your right foot. You really have to ground your right foot. Think about getting your 2 hips as best in one line as you can as you lift your left leg up, and just start with a nice quad stretch. And you can hang out right here if that standing bow pulling was not for you, but I encourage you to have fun, make a shape. So take a moment, draw that left knee behind you, find a little bit more activation in your glute, in your quad, and then we're going to twist our hand around so that the palm of your hand is by your big toe. Hips still stay squared towards the top of the room. Reground your left foot to the floor. Inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling. Palm facing forward. Start with your kick. Kick your heel away from your glute as much as possible. And when you can't kick anymore, think about just tilting forward like a little teapot. Take your time. Use your breath. Inhale, find that length, find that stretch in your arms, and exhale, come down just a little bit deeper. Working to get to chest parallel to the floor. Remember, it's practice, not perfect. For 3, kick up higher, 2, 1, change. Inhale that left arm up to meet with the right, stretch through your fingers once more. Pull your belly in nice and tight, rain your fingertips down towards the floor. Go ahead, walk your right leg back, bend your knee. Bring your left foot down towards the floor as well. Take a moment, give yourself another cat-cow right here. Really work to find that rounding and arching of that upper back Find a little extra stretch in those shoulders, especially after that chest opening that we just did with standing bow pulling and that separate leg stretching chest opener. And go ahead, cross your legs and go ahead, take a seat. Get your feet out in front of you. Take your time with intention. We're gonna lower ourselves back down to the mat. Yay, once you get there, relax your arms down by your side. We're coming into our final Savasana, so feel free to open your feet a little bit wider. Maybe you need to press into your elbows, lift your chest up, adjust your glutes, adjust your legs, shake it out for a second if you need to. Shake out any shpilkes you might still have that we didn't work through during class, so you can be as still, quiet, focused, and relaxed as you possibly can for our last 3 minutes right here in Savasana. Bring the same attention and determination to stay in and enjoy the benefits of this posture as you did for everything else. Anytime that you make additional movements right here in Savasana and corpse pose, like fixing your clothes or messing with your hair, you're coming out of your posture. So if you did a solid job of avoiding fixing your clothes or messing with your hair and standing bow pulling, bring that same attention to focus right here. One last opportunity on our mats together today to just inhale in awareness and really exhale out all that does not serve you. Scan your body from head to toe and just look for those points that might need a little relaxation. Are they the same as when you started class? Or are they different? Just taking notice. I find the commitment to staying in Savasana the most useful for transferring the idea of yoga practice being on our mat and yoga internally being in real life. Because in real life there are so many times where maybe you're doing something that you just don't want to be doing. Maybe you're like in a meeting and you are losing your mind. Just like maybe for you, finding this stillness in Savasana is a real challenge. If you can do this right here and find a way to change that mental channel away from the challenge to what's one good thing? And can you focus a little bit more on that one good thing? Maybe there's 2 or 3 instead of the one other thing that you're not feeling awesome about. I encourage you to stay here in this Savasana and focus on your breath and focus on just those deep mental thoughts for as long as feels right for you today. If you, like me, have other awesome things to do and see, and you don't have extra time to relax here, let's go ahead and find our way to a seated position and we'll close out class together. Take your time. Yay! So right back here in our seated position, bring your hands palms to the center of your chest once more. Tuck your chin and honor yourself.
Thank yourself for creating this time and space to improve your physical and mental health. Bringing a little bit more focus just to your breath and mindfulness, to the joy of just making shapes, moving our bodies, doing something different. If you guys have any questions or concerns about anything that we said or did today, as always, please reach out. Remember to think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds. I can't wait to see you guys all again soon. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for sharing your energy with me so you could share your energy with others. Namaste.